What is going on, everybody? My name is Dakota and welcome back to Kota's Colognes. And today we're going to be looking at and reviewing Emporio Armani. Stronger with you, absolutely. Let's get into it. Alrighty, so before we get too far in the video, I will say that this fragrance is very close to being discontinued, if not maybe just did get discontinued. I know it's on the chopping block, I just don't know for sure when it's officially gonna be just gone. So for now, if you're someone who is interested in this fragrance, may go ahead and jump on this now. Just wanted to say that before we got too far into the breakdown. Go ahead and pop the top off. And I'm gonna start this how we always start this. So I'm gonna go ahead and show off the Atomizer. Atomizer is pretty rock solid. It's pressurized. It's not over pressurized, it's lightly pressurized. Good center burst, all in all, not too bad. And what you get when this fragrance first gets into the air, this has a beautiful rum note in it. But something else you also get is a little bit of citrus from the bergamot and just a little bit of floral from the lavender. And that's kind of what you get on the opening sprays. So what I'll do is go ahead and put a couple there on the wrist. And I can't speak to everyone on this, but I will say from my personal experience on wearing this, the rum note is very good. And this is also a very sweet fragrance. And it doesn't take long at all for a lot of that sweetness to start coming through. And it's not like a bubblegummy sweet, and it's like a raw sweetness. It's like a raw vanilla sweetness. It's almost like vanilla ice cream kind of vibe to it. At least that's what my nose gets out of it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get this spinning up. We're gonna let my wrist dry down a little bit, and we'll see y'all here in a second. Alrighty, as we get this bottle spinning up, we'll go ahead and get straight into the notes. The top notes on this are gonna be rum, elemi, and bergamot. And when you first spray this, you do get a lot of rum. You get a little bit of that citrusy from the bergamot, not a lot, just enough to make it worth it. The middle notes on this are going to be lavender and Divana. The lavender comes through on the top notes a little bit, not so much on the Divana. And the base notes on this come to a Madagascar vanilla, chestnut, cedar, and patchouli. And when this dries all the way down, you get all those notes except a little bit of patchouli. This doesn't have much of that green clean vibe to it. And that Madagascar vanilla, as it dries down, morphs a little bit more into a bitter vanilla. But all in all, this fragrance has still got a quality blend to it that is very, very good. But that's enough yapping on this one. Let me get y'all flipped back around and we'll get back into it. Alrighty, so I gave this one about 45 minutes to dry down. That way I kind of let this one all the way settle, because this one does take around that 45 minutes to an hour range to really start to dry down. And what it starts to develop is there's chestnuts in the base of this. And that chestnut note really develops very well. It does get a little woody. It almost gets like a little bit of a saltiness to it. And that vanilla also stays very potent as well. But as it dries down, it becomes a less sweet vanilla and a little more of like a sharp bite type of vanilla. It's a little more of an edgier vanilla rather than like a naturally sweet vanilla. And speaking of naturally on this is a very natural smelling fragrance. This to me, doesn't smell synthetic at all. But one of the main things that stays through all the way through this is a true like rum bourbon style. It's rum is in the notes, but like a rum bourbon style fragrance, because you do kind of get to keep that all the way through, all the way to the dry down. But at the same time, as this is drying down, there's a lightness to it. It's not a real heavy fragrance. Now, if you put too much of this on, obviously it can be heavy and dominant, but if you're a moderate sprayer or an average sprayer at least, this is gonna develop a little bit of a lightness to it when it does dry all the way down. Now, it could be some of the cedar, it could be some of the chestnut. The vanilla, it's kind of hard to say that, because the vanilla does give it a little bit of a bite, but it's not overwhelming. It's pleasant, it's light, but it's still very, very good. So we get into the price and availability of this. Availability wise, this is probably not gonna be in much big box stores, and if it is, it's probably not gonna be there longer. Discounter still has this pretty well. Every side of Discounter still has this. This is the 100 ml bottle, and I haven't found any of the 50 ml bottles playing around online. The 100 ml bottle is selling for about 120 to 130, somewhere in there. Now, because this is discontinued, there is a chance that price is gonna go up. Sometimes what discounters will do is when they start getting real low on stock and they don't think they're gonna get any more, unfortunately, they will raise that price way up. So if this is a fragrance that you've been interested in, or if it's a fragrance that you really think you might want, jump on it now, because the price is probably only gonna go skyrocketed from there. And even if you look in like fragrance groups and stuff like that, normally discounted fragrances fetch an even higher premium there. So if it's one you want, you may look into getting in it. So what that'll lead us into is the performance on this. Now the performance on this is actually very good on my skin. I get in around the 8-hour range for longevity on this. The sillage on this is very good. I get somewhere in that 2 to 3 foot range on this, and that's in that 5 to 7 spray range that I do like to do. The projection on this is very good as well. It doesn't leave like a big oily, at least on my skin, it doesn't leave like a big oily residue. It seems to set on the skin very nicely. This is a rock star fragrance in my collection. I won't go so far as to say that I love this fragrance, because there is more like sweet rummy style fragrances that I do like a little bit more than this. But I will say that this could easily be a cornerstone fragrance in someone's collection. This would be a beautiful winter fragrance. This is an awesome date night fragrance. This is gonna have some of that warmth. It's gonna have some of that invitingness. It's gonna be sweet. It's not gonna be something that'll scare somebody off. It's not as mass appealing as some of the other Emporio Armanis, specifically the Stronger With You line. It's not as mass appealing as some of the other ones, but to me, arguably, this is their best one to me. So yeah, if I was going to rate this fragrance right now as a whole, I would give it a 9 out of 10. And really the only thing I would change on this is that vanilla, when you first spray it, that vanilla stays really, really good. It's kind of got like that I said before, it's kind of got that ice cream vanilla bean vibe. But as it dries down, it does change and get like a little sharper. It almost gets more of like a bitter vanilla. And to me, I'm not the biggest fan of that. Some people will smell that and absolutely love it. Just for me personally, not quite for me on that front. But all in all, still a rock star fragrance, I would say. But the blend of this fragrance is done very well. This is a smooth fragrance. There's not a lot of rough edges around this. I would say for Emporio Armani specifically, I think this line as a whole has been a little bit more refined than some of the other Armani stuff that's out there. It's a little more complete, a little more smooth, typically, something along those lines. So all in all, this is a rock solid fragrance that nobody should be afraid to buy. But that is gonna get us wrapped up on this fragrance. Go ahead and get it on this bottle one more time. And as a bottle goes, this is a very nice bottle. It's got some heft to it. The biggest thing I don't like about this bottle, and it's kind of a pet peeve thing, is this cap. I don't know if you can tell. This cap has a beveled edge to it, and it's gotta go on perfect to kind of snap down. That's probably my biggest complaint about the whole fragrance, is I don't really like the cap. But yeah, that is gonna get us wrapped up. As always, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, for sticking around to listen to me yap on this YouTube channel. I genuinely appreciate all the feedback I get, and I genuinely appreciate everyone who is getting more involved in the comment section and everything else like that. So sincerely, thank you. We just broke over the 300 subscriber mark, so I'm super excited about that. We are climbing our way to 400, and if you didn't get it on the giveaway for the 300, I will be doing another giveaway at 400. So if you didn't win the 300, stick around. We'll try to get you into the 400. But anyway, that'll be for much later down the road. But yeah, that is going to get us wrapped up. As always, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for subscribing, and we'll see you next time.